Yeah, I'm here to introduce something that I feel we should know. First of all, my name is Lydia Pamela Nyangala. I come from Matioli village, Bukura sublocation, Lurambi sub-county and Kakamega county. I was born there to a man who was a pastor, the late Henry Nyangala, Mkabana Tsuma, and my mom, Sela Nyona Nyangala. And she came from Butere sub-county. I sure appreciate them too for what they've done to me up to this level, though they are late, but I feel their presence in me. I'm an eighth born in a family of 10, 5 girls, 5 boys, the famous 5 as we call ourselves. Today I just had a feeling that we ought to learn some things. As much as I was brought up in a Christian home, there are things that we used to do, or there are things that are done by Christians that were cultural. So today, I want to talk about culture. We ought to learn something about culture. You know, people look at culture and say that these are ancient things. People should not follow culture. But to me, I feel we have some reasons, or culture is of importance for us to know. Even the generation behind us, they have to know why there was culture. First and foremost, culture is all about communication. Communication is language. Without your language, then you will not communicate. That I mean, language is your mother tongue. You know, people have gone to school and they feel the language is not important at any given time. First of all, let me tell you, this daughter of Nyangala went to school. I went to Msoli Girls Primary Boarding School. That's a Catholic entity. I then moved to Shikoti Girls for my secondary level. After Shikoti Girls, I went to Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. I'll repeat there. I went to Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, trained as a journalist. I trained here and there these other small courses. I trained as an environmental journalist at Daystar University. I went ahead, trained as a reporter on child labor and others. At the moment, I also trained as a mediator. I'm a certified mediator in Kenya. I also advanced my education by studying political studies and peace studies. That is political science and peace studies, PSPS, at Kisii University. I thank God for all that. Here, one may wonder, why do I want to talk about culture? And at the same time, I come from a Christian home. You know, as much as I was brought up in a Christian home, there's so much about culture. At the same time, I was cultured, or the entire family was cultured. That is the Tsumas family. The Tsumas family, the one I come from, as much as we were Christians, we were cultured. And that's why I'm here to talk about it. First and foremost, the first thing when you come to culture, let's talk about language. In my profession, as much as I trained as a journalist, we were in the same class with those people who broadcast English and Kiswahili. So I did, yes, but I ventured into my mother tongue. People wondered how. How did you know your language? After all, you went to boarding school, you are not living at home, but interest is good. And I thank that old man who brought me on this earth. He was very strict and he wanted us to know the language. So because of our father or my dad or my father, he made me know the language. He could read the Bible in his mother tongue or in our mother tongue, and he could elaborate. And if at any time you needed something from dad, you could speak the language. So I thank him for that. And I feel I have to talk about it. As I told you from the beginning, culture is language. You cannot express yourself so well in any other language apart from your mother tongue. That is me, Kiluya. Luya is all about me. And when I'm talking about culture is language, language is culture, when you want to express something, you'll talk about it in your mother tongue. May it be a child, may it be a grown-up, may it be the middle-aged people, they'll all understand. And you see, at times, language matters. Why I say language matters? For example, there's a war in the home. There's conflict between you and your partner. Conflict between you and your dad or your father. Conflict. Try to speak English. They'll say you're proud. Speak Kiswahili. It sounds rude. Talk your mother tongue. It is soft. And somebody will get it right. You'll apologize, or the tone you'll use in your mother tongue is quite different from the tone you'll use in English, quite different from Kiswahili. But I'm talking about language because communication and culture, if it had been there was no language, then we wouldn't know our culture. I'm talking about culture because of the language. And I'm insisting on this because at the moment, I'll not say our children who are coming up in the Luya community, not living out myself. I'm also a victim. We've brought up children who cannot speak the language. We are losing our culture. I'm talking about the language, communication. Maybe you are seated somewhere and something is burning out. You are there, you are Luyas, but because there are other people and you don't understand, you can't speak your own language, you are forced to speak in Kiswahili or in English, whereby now everybody will listen to what you're saying. But if you want to express something, maybe you are doing something and you want to express yourself to your colleague or to your friend or to your family members, you tune back and say, this is what I mean. You speak it in your own language. Then people will adjust and know, oh, what you're doing is not right, or you're supposed to behave like this. That's why I'm talking about language, which is culture. If it would have been your language is not good, then from time memorial, these people will be speaking a different language. But there was reason to why we have all these tribes. For example, I feel proud to be a Luya. I feel very proud because when I talk, I feel I'm communicating to the person I'm talking to. And some feel it's pride to speak Kiswahili. It is to speak English. Yeah, it is, yes, with a reason. When I speak to you in English, I meant we should speak English. If I speak Kiswahili, we are supposed to speak Kiswahili. But when I talk the language we grew with, that is the language we are supposed to be communicating to. And there's a reason, because language is culture. Without communicating to your people, without passing the message to the people, then what are you doing to yourself? That's what I'm telling you. Language is culture. And I tell my people, I tell everybody who is listening to me this day, that your mother tongue is as important as English or Kiswahili. Let us stick to our language so that we build it up. It is rich when you speak your own language. It is. And that's why we saying culture is Good. And then you look, just check our constitution in Kenya. It has a clause. Culture is important. Why is it important? Because they want us to impress what there was. And if you follow the culture, respect will be there. There will be respect in all corners. You will follow the beliefs of the community. You will have the values of the community. You will have all sorts of things about your community whereby you'll know, I'm supposed to do this. We are supposed to go here. We are supposed to reach there, because the language and culture, they all work as a component, because you cannot be speaking Kiswahili, you are having a cultural event, you are having what, and you don't know what it's all about. Let us impress our mother tongue so that our children can also understand and know. And there are sayings. We have sayings or proverbs in our languages that have really meanings or strong, how can I put it? When you are told some proverb or a saying, when you look at it properly, you change your behavior. So culture is also behavior. If you behave weirdly in a community, people look at you and wonder, what is all this? So when we are talking about culture, don't just look at traditional things, but those traditional things at the same time, they were there to make us work as a team, be close to each other,